G'day there guys, my name's Marky and welcome back to some more stories from Reddit. With that said, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into today's episode. Am I the asshole here for saying that I'm second guessing having a baby with my husband after he asked for a paternity test? I, 26 female, and my husband, Alex, 27 male, have been married for a year. Recently I found out I was pregnant. This was not planned. However, ever since we got married, we've not been using protection every time we got intimate, and I'm currently not on any birth control. My guess is that I'm only a few weeks along. I haven't seen a doctor yet. Anyway, I told him when he got back home from work yesterday. I personally was very happy about it because I've always wanted to be a mom. I was pretty sure that I was all smiles when I told him, and I thought that he would be too once he found out the news. Let me add that he's been neutral on having kids. My assumption was wrong. Immediately, he gets super upset and asks how in the hell this could happen. I explained to him that while it was sudden, we hadn't been using protection every time, so it wasn't that surprising. I thought he would have understood. For some reason, he didn't. After a few minutes of back and forth, he demanded a paternity test and told me that there was no way that it was his. I was hurt and insulted. Let me be clear that I did not and never will cheat on my husband. I've also never given him any reason to be suspicious about me cheating on him either. I was so taken aback that he doubted my loyalty enough to ask for a paternity test. I told him that I couldn't believe he was seriously asking me for that. He said that I wasn't helping my case, and that if I had nothing to hide, then I would take the test and prove my loyalty to him. I honestly can't remember all that I said, but I ended up saying something along the lines of, "If you're doubting me and my loyalty so much that you think I cheated on you and got pregnant with someone else's baby, then I don't think I want one with you anymore. I don't want to be tied to someone who clearly doesn't trust me." He blew up at me and accused me of cheating once again. It was a big argument, and he said that I was being shitty, dismissing his concerns, and saying that asking for a paternity test was valid. In the end, I agreed to the test, but said that I stood by my words. I had to highlight that because some people are saying that I didn't agree to it when I very much did. We haven't spoken since the argument, and he's currently at work. I went to visit my friend for advice, and she said that while he was out of line for accusing me of cheating, I shouldn't have said that to him over one of his valid concerns, and that he clearly had a reason to feel that way about the situation. I cannot fathom what made him feel like I was cheating on him. I was just so hurt that he would insult me like that and accuse me of doing something so disgusting when I thought that we were supposed to have trust in each other. But am I the asshole for saying what I did? Edit. A lot of people are suggesting that he got a secret vasectomy that failed, and that did cross my mind. During the argument, I did ask if he got a vasectomy or was infertile, and that's why the baby couldn't be his. But he just dismissed that and continued saying that it just couldn't be his without providing me a solid reason. So in that regard, I really have no idea what to say. Edit 2, I feel like I should elaborate on the neutral about kids parts. I told him while we were still dating that no kids was a deal breaker for me. He said that was fine because his stance on it was that if we ever have kids, then it's fine. If something happens and we don't, then that's fine. I'm calling that neutral since I don't know what else to call it. So when I told him that I was pregnant, I thought he would be fine with it like he said. But apparently he just changed his mind about that and didn't tell me. And also, I have no issues with men wanting paternity tests. I just had an issue with him blatantly accusing me of cheating with no solid proof to back it up along with it. In the comments, Yikes Man Strikes says, "You guys have unprotected sex without any form of birth control. What exactly is he surprised about?" This happened to a family friend of my husband's. She wanted a baby, they started trying, they got pregnant, and he lost his shit. Apparently he thought they couldn't get pregnant because they had a couple of close calls when they weren't trying? I don't know. They got divorced, she had the baby. While shopping for furniture, they ran into each other while he was hand in hand with his girlfriend. He sees his ex, bolts out of the store, leaving the new girl behind. I feel so bad for the baby, but maybe he can write on his college application about his overcoming the adversity of having a stage 4 moron for a father. Look, I'm not saying that he's definitely cheating, but people who cheat are pretty likely to project onto their partners and accuse them of cheating, out of guilt or whatever. You don't want a baby with someone who doesn't believe that he could be the father, even after having unprotected sex, and no reason to assume you're cheating. And unless you two get some significant couples therapy, why would you stay with someone who believes that you're cheating on him? True. I was also thinking the other possible reason is he was told he couldn't have children, or a failed vasectomy that he lied about, which would make his statement, "it can't be mine," make more sense. But if that was the case, then he needs to come clean and tell her that he had lied to her earlier, and he's still a total asshole. Definitely take the paternity test, but you should require an IQ test to make sure. Because I'm pretty sure that you're about to have a child with an idiot, not the asshole. I hope to all gods that OP sees this and it makes her die laughing like it did me. I'm pretty sure he already failed the IQ test, but we can get a second opinion. I honestly think he's put himself in a rock and a hard place situation, because if he did get a vasectomy without telling OP, that is a gigantic deal breaker for the relationship. If she married him on the grounds that having kids was part of the marriage, that having kids was a deal breaker, he's a gigantic asshole for going behind her back and getting a vasectomy. I don't know why he would do this. It really doesn't make any sense, but then again, when people are faced with stressful situations like this, they often don't act rationally. And maybe he acted very emotionally instantly, and then later on was like, oh shit, why did I do that? I can't dig myself out of this hole. I'm just gonna have to live in denial and hope that she gives up with asking questions. That genuinely seems like the thought process to me. Either way, you're not the asshole for saying that you're second-guessing having a baby with him, because this whole situation is such a mess. I would get out of there if I was you, but hey, you can stick this one out with him if you would like to. Updates. Hi everybody. This isn't going to be a super crazy update saying that we got the test back and he got a secret vasectomy, etc., but it's kind of a big one. This might be a long post, so I'll put a TLDR at the bottom. Thank you everyone for your kind words and advice. It was all super helpful, including criticism, because it really made me reflect on my behavior and how I handled the situation. On top of that, I'm so sorry that I didn't really respond to any comments. There were a lot just coming in non-stop, and it was a little overwhelming. Moving on, after I made that post and he came home from work, I cooked him his favorite dinner and let him relax a bit before I calmly approached the subject again. I told him that I was happy to do the paternity test, just that I was a little hurt that he would accuse me of cheating on him because I loved him a lot and would hate to make him feel that way. I also apologized for what I said. I asked him if he was just overwhelmed and scared from the news, and that's why he accused me like he did. He said that wasn't it, and that was genuinely his biggest concern. He then told me that he wasn't willing to talk to me, say anything else, or negotiate about anything until after we get the test done. Bro is genuinely asking for a fight with that. What is going on? I would scream if my partner said that, like, what's your problem? I asked if he was sure, and he practically yelled at me, telling me to drop the subject for now. So I did, and so things have been super tense. I've been scrolling through comment after comment for what feels like forever. A lot of you said that he was cheating. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and chalk it up to him being told he was infertile or something, but I ended up getting a really bad sinking feeling in my gut that I should check his phone. I never wanted to be the type of person that goes through their significant other's phone obsessively for no reason, but my gut has never really steered me wrong, so I did it last night while he was sleeping. I snuck his phone off his nightstand and went out to the living room. He's cheating on me. And if that wasn't bad enough, it is indeed with my friend that I mentioned in the last post. Like a lot of you said, I guess it does make sense now that I think about it, but I'm still really shocked. I'd never been suspicious of their relationship before, but after reading the comments, I realized her reaction was a red flag. I went through their texts, and from what I can tell, it's only been going on for a few months and started after we got married. But really, I only focused on the texts from right after I told him that I was pregnant. He texted her saying things like, "I don't know what I was thinking when I decided to screw her without a condom. She says it's mine, of course, but I swear to God it better not be. I'll be happy if it isn't. Obviously, I don't want a kid with her. I'd rather be with you than stuck with her." You, in this context, being my friend. I know I should have been careful. I don't care if she thinks I'm a dick or an awful husband right now. This was his reply when my friend told him that I came to her about the situation. So yeah, those were just a few messages, but their conversations were hard to read, and I ended up crying a lot. I screenshotted the messages, sent them to myself from his phone, deleted the texts on his phone so it looked like he'd never sent anything, and then deleted the screenshots and deleted them from the recently deleted folder. I also went on his laptop to check if they were deleted there too. From his texts, I gathered that he did not have a secret vasectomy that failed, nor does he think that he is sterile since he said himself that he should have been more careful, and he doesn't know what he was thinking. I don't think he'd be saying that if he thought he was infertile. I also want to say that yes, he knows I'm currently not on birth control, and he was the one that decided to not use a condom, not me. I just agreed. I didn't pressure him. At first he was pulling out, but occasionally he wouldn't. I don't know why he would continue not wearing a condom occasionally after the affair started. I'm guessing it was because telling me he no longer wanted to go without protection every time, no matter what, would make me suspicious. But that's basically it for now. I'm not going to confront him about cheating right away. I am going to go get the test and then confront him and tell him that I want a divorce along with the test results. I mean, that's currently my plan, but my mind is also all over the place, so maybe that's not the best way to do this? I don't know. It's like 6 a.m., I feel like shit, and I haven't gotten any sleep. I also forgot to mention that I'm getting an STD test just to be safe. I think that I'm going to get an abortion just because I don't want my first full-term pregnancy to be literal hell when it should be a happy experience. But thank you to everyone congratulating me. It means a lot. The next update will probably be after the paternity test, or whenever I feel like I need to update. In the comments, FrozeFoot says, "Don't force yourself to stay in a toxic place while waiting. Leave while he's at work. Gather all of your things and be out by the time that he gets home. A friend's place, parents, relatives, whoever, doesn't matter." I would put both the paternity test results and the divorce papers in an envelope for him. If he needs to be served the papers, then do that. Keep his number unblocked, but do not engage with any calls or messages. Same with his mistress. Homewrecker, you mean? Women who do this to each other deserve to be called what they are and shunned. And he's no better than his affair partner. OP needs to print copies of the texts, paternity test results, and send them to the affair partner's family, advising them that they were no longer friends and why. And to your damn husband's family, advising them that she has had an abortion because she didn't want to be tied to their cheating asshole of a son for the rest of her life. Drop a bomb in the middle of their lives and quietly exit stage right. Not the asshole. All good except saying that she had an abortion. That is no one's business but OP's. Not something that she needs to say or should say. Instead, she should phrase it that the stress, shock, and trauma of the betrayal by husband and best friend caused me to lose the baby. My only solace is that I no longer have anything tying me to an abusive, cheating bastard. God damn, that's a straight fire. Was your pen on fire when you wrote that one? Jesus Christ. Why are people like this? Just own up to your bullshit, good lord. I hope that OP has other people to support her through this horrible time. Totally this. And also to the people that say it's fine to ask for a paternity test, I just want to be sure. Yes, it is okay to ask for them. The implication is horrible. Don't be surprised that you get dumped on the spot if the woman in question has some self-esteem. Why did they get married if he was so disgusted by her? It's only been a year. How did he get to this point, and why not leave sooner? I genuinely asked that question so many times. Same as the deadbeat fiancé story where he was just there for the free ride, free rent, free utilities, he didn't have to raise the baby. That made sense as to why he stuck around, but then he ruined his free meal ticket by saying, "I'm just less in love with you than you are with me." With this one, it doesn't make any sense. There was no positives to him staying married. Was this really just a situation where the fantasy of cheating on your wife was sexier than divorcing her and just being with the best friend? Keeping up the charade of a nuclear family with a healthy friendship with your affair partner and your wife, that was so much better than just doing the right thing and breaking everything off. Or just not getting married. Like, how did this start? So many questions, so little answers, because obviously the other side is not going to answer those questions. But it does make for entertaining content, and I'm here for it, so thank you for the story, OP. I very much appreciate that. Our next post is by user Bon Burgundy, titled, I just need advice. Not all of the events that have happened will be put in to keep my anonymity, so forgive me for any spacey bits. I, 27 male, am unsure about what to do about my girlfriend M, 26. Some backstory, I met M 3 years ago at a store. We hit it off immediately, we spent all of our spare time together hanging out, and then 2 months later we started dating. Before we started dating, she told me of her past relationship. Her boyfriend during their relationship was verbally, emotionally, and sometimes physically abusive. She broke up with him after 3 years together. I met her roughly 2 years after the breakup. She knows that I hate his guts, that I think of him as despicable, and I'm glad that this mother trucker lives 17 hours away. While they were together, M had made a bond with the ex's child. When we talked about this, I initially understood her feelings towards his child, having practically raised them and supported her wanting to stay in contact. Her ex soon decided to cut her off shortly after we started dating. Nothing was heard from either of them for 4 months. Then the harassment came. He would blow up her phone with sexist jokes, saying how bad of a person she was, how he knows that she'd F up her current relationship, the list goes on. I told her that this was unacceptable and to block him. She agreed and did so right then. Now we come to the present. We were in bed, and I'll say that she has me check her phone if it goes off in case it's her parents, as they're getting up there in age, and we help out at their house quite often. It goes off, I check it, and it's him. I shouldn't have, but I check the message, and it opens the whole conversation, and they're chatting as if they're good friends. I'm confused. I've lost count of how many times she's told me that she hates him and doesn't want to talk to him ever again. The latest being Saturday. But this apparently has been going on for at least a month, and I'm shocked that she hasn't told me, when she had when he tried to contact her last year. I didn't say anything, as I didn't want to start that conversation at that time. She tried to hide it from me later when he texted again, seeing the notification and quickly scrolling past it when showing me something. I confronted her about it, and she said that he's just talking to me about his kid, when there was no mentioning of him at all. I feel bad for intruding, but to see that going on, am I just insecure? I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to calmly approach this situation with what I know and what I've been told. In the comments, Lavender Antihero says, you value honesty in your relationship, plain and simple. First time ever commenting on Reddit. I'm usually just reading, but upon reading your story, I feel that I have to tell you this. This is a major red flag in so many ways, and there is no way that this ends well for you in these conditions. First off, let me tell you that I've been in bad relationships, and I'm now very happily married. It's difficult to see that a relationship is bad when you're in it, but once you're out of it and in a very healthy one, you look back at things, and you can't believe what you were actually putting up with. I'm telling you this beforehand so that you understand for any outsider with a good relationship that this is an unthinkable situation. The keeping in touch for his child part is an excuse to stay in touch with him. You seem like a good guy, so probably you don't understand, but some people are unfortunately addicted to being treated poorly. It's an addiction, and it's bad. The lying and hiding part of the conversation goes to show that she is fully aware that this is not okay, and also why she downplays it when you discover it. She's still in a toxic relationship with her ex, and this will blow up on you if you stay in between. I have 2 pieces of advice. 1, if you're really attached and in love, walk away for some time and give her an ultimatum. Either she cuts all contact with her ex, or it's over. But don't make any compromise on this. Her ex's kid or not. Also, don't accept any more lies, big or small. 2, if you're not extremely attached and or in love, just walk away. It's better for your well-being. This is a real issue, and it will get worse with time if you don't take action. It won't resolve on its own, unfortunately. I wish you good luck, OP, and stay strong. You must think of your own well-being first. Keep us updated if you can. Yeah, I'm on board with that one as well. This is not a good situation. She is addicted to being treated poorly by her ex. Sometimes we just gotta learn these things the hard way, OP. We just gotta cut them off, be like, hey, Unless you're gonna actually cut him off, which I don't believe so because you've hidden this for a long time, I'm out. This is not good for my mental health. You are nasty, Jazz. You need some milk, girlfriend. You gotta have some self-respect for yourself and stop going back to this guy. If you can't respect yourself, how can I respect you? Let's be so for real for a second, okay? I can't respect this hiding behavior. I can't respect this emotional cheating behavior. I can't respect anything that you're doing right now, so why should I stay? OP, this is why people say just bounce. Just get the hell out of there. It's not worth it. Someone else would do it better for you, I promise. Update. So I'd like to thank the users who took the time to respond to my post. In short detail, we broke up. I decided to have a sit down with my girlfriend. I asked her why she was really texting her ex. She said that she needed someone to talk to about life and vent, and apparently he's a better choice for that than I. I also was shown all of the messages. She didn't bother trying to delete anything as it would show that it had been. But he was clearly trying to drag her back or break apart our relationship. Subtle flirting, and even some knight in shining armor bullshit. She told him she thinks that I cheated in the past with my former boss because I sent her and my manager memes and often helped her and her wife with projects to make extra money while they prepared to sell their house. Holy shit, the projection is crazy. I read multiple messages from him on how he would have beaten me to a pulp if he was still in town, how he was so upset that he put holes in his wall. Keep going. I want to know more about this. That's so sad and pathetic. Holy shit. Who is this guy? Kyle. Someone come get their Kyle. He's had a bit too much monster energy. That cheesy shit. How he would never cheat on her. He cheated twice. I hope y'all can see that he's also a narcissist. And insisting that me helping out was suspicious, as it was only during the weekend that I would do this, even though I always sent her pictures of the work I did, receipts for the supplies, and even footage of me working from their home cameras that they have for their 3 dogs, and there was never a question asked to me about what I was doing over there aside from what time I expected to be finished, and was normally done on time or early. Oh, and I didn't mention that she didn't tell him that we had gotten it sorted out, that I had never in fact cheated. She didn't tell him anything to dissuade him or diffuse the situation after he had threatened me like that. Nothing. Whether she thought that it was serious or not, I was very upset by what I read, and I felt like I had no value to her, that I wasn't trusted. No matter what I did for her, it seemed that it wasn't enough. I pressed her. I told her that she has 2 options. She cuts him off and we go to therapy, or she can continue to have her chats with him and I walk away. Honestly, I should have just ended it myself, but I was curious as to what she would do. But it's over. She refused to cut him off, saying her only chance to talk to his child again is by talking to him. I told her that if a child isn't even hers, and a man who abused her is all she really cares about, then good luck with that. I grabbed my stuff and I left. Was that rude? Yeah. I let my emotions get a hold of me. I called her parents and ended up telling them that we've split. They're great people, and they told me they're sorry that things turned out the way they did. They've even invited me out for dinner on Friday, just me and them, so I can get some of my tools that I've loaned them and to talk more about this. Watch her accuse him of cheating with her parents after that one. If there's no CCTV footage of it, you obviously cheated with my parents. I thought about declining their offer to dinner, but her mum is too sweet for her own good, and her father and I always have a blast having a drink together. So I'm going Friday. I've doubled down on my decision, and knowing them, they probably won't press me to try to make it work. After all of this, I'm going to treat myself to a nice bottle of sake I've been saving in my fridge and just relax. Thank you for bearing with me on this huge-ass update. In the comments, It's All Mine Now says, there is every chance she will come back to try and reel you back in when she realizes what a trucking idiot she is being. Don't believe it, stick to your guns, and keep her away. She'll come to realize at some point that she's still in an abusive relationship with him and will want to grab back onto you just for some stability. But if she really cared about you enough, she would have chosen you this time. She's too damaged to be any use to you without making your life harder. Don't bite the lure. OP says, I agree wholeheartedly. I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to contact me today, but I'm gonna turn my phone off at work for some peace. It's time that I focus on me and what I want out of life. Next week, I'm gonna travel to DC for a weekend with my friends to just unwind and get away for a bit. She needs therapy, man. She really linked to this abusive shit under the disguise that she cares about the kid. She maybe does, but probably wants the D again. You shouldn't be caught up in this shit, and it's good that you left. You weren't rude, you were real. But don't vent to her parents when you see them on Friday. Just tell them that you were happy that you met them again and thank them for the nice hospitality. But after this evening, you can't come back to them again. Break down the bridges. Otherwise, she will try to come back to you with the help of her parents when she realizes, and for everything that's holy I hope she does, that Narc Boy isn't a good man. You should never be someone's second option. OP replies, "This will indeed be the last time that I see them. I told them this when we talked about dinner, and while sad, they said they completely understand. But I'm going to give them at least the reason why we broke up. I'm not going to tell them everything, just enough to where they get the picture on how badly she needs help. While I will be grateful for them always, you're right when saying that it's time to move on. Maybe I'll give one final update if anyone's interested in that." Final update. Thank you everyone for your kind words, wisdom, and thoughts. Your comments have helped me so much. Alas, this will be the final update. M has tried contacting me non-stop, from calling me to messaging me on social media, begging me to talk with her and work things out. I replied only once, saying that I gave her a chance to work this out, to compromise, and to go to therapy together, only for her to refuse and choose her ex and child over me. Apparently, yesterday he cut contact with her, blocking her on everything. And honestly, I saw it coming. But he'll probably do it all over again when she finds a new guy. She's a wreck, and I pity her somewhat, but she's made her bed, and it's time for her to lay in it. I told her that there will be no second chance, that I was finished the moment she made her values clear, and again suggested she get therapy. I wished her the best and then deleted her off of my phone and anything else that she was on. I went out to dinner with her parents last night, and it was actually a good time with them. Her parents were kind, yet to the point. Her parents told me not to mince words or leave bits out and just tell them exactly what had been going on. I tried to tell them that while I respect them, that I didn't want to drag them into our relationship problems and wanted there to be no issues with them and their daughter. Well, her dad told me that they had already had a long talk with M and regardless, wanted to hear my input. So we talked. I told them about her ex and her kid, his threats, him trying to break up our relationship. Well, I guess you can say he did now. Her lying and hiding his messages. I told them I gave her the choice and what she chose. I insisted to them that they take her to seek professional help and that if she keeps this up, she's going to tear herself up and any future relationship. I want her to be happy someday, but it just won't be with me. I'm tired of the lies and deceit. I just want to move forward and live my life, and I hope that she can do the same. Their responses were not exactly what I expected. They apologized to me for her actions, that they were disappointed that things turned out as they had, but they supported my decision to walk away from her. I won't lie, I'd expected them to ask me to talk to them and try to move past it, but there was not even an inkling of that. Her mum came and gave me a hug, but her dad just seemed dejected. I'd never seen this man look this way, and it felt like a punch to the gut. It hurt seeing him like that, knowing there was nothing I could do. We ended up just sitting there in silence for a minute before he decided to order a round of shots. A round turned into 2, and that seemed to help relax everyone as we sat chatting about my future plans, their retirement, goals, and hopes. We were out for 3 hours, chatting as if we were just normal people. I had a great time. Even while it hurt, we cried a few times, but we also laughed and remembered past times when we'd make a fool out of ourselves. When we were about to part ways, her dad gave me a bone-crushing handshake and a hug which her mum ended up joining in. This man has never hugged me, so I was really caught by surprise. They told me to take care of myself, eat healthy, don't sink yourself in alcohol, and just focus on getting through the days. They're going to look at other options for therapy for M and recommended that I do the same, which I think I'll do. They handed me a bag with my tools, said that they're going to miss me, but they wished me the best. I gave them my goodbyes and we parted ways. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted, both off my chest and my shoulders. I decided that I'm taking a break from dating. One day I'll find someone, but that's all in the back of my mind. To others that may be going through similar situations, talk to your partners. If you've only talked about going to therapy, schedule a session. If not for you both, do it for yourself. Do not sacrifice your mental nor physical health for the sake of a relationship. If it's not healthy and attempts of improving your relationship fails, walk away. I know for many that it's not that simple, but when will enough really be enough for you? In the comments, Pigeon on Drugs says, "You absolutely did the right thing. It's a situation that I wish nobody to be in on either side. Having this toxic relationship with somebody where you constantly crave them coming back is like a drug. It'll forever be a back and forth that'll lead to nothing. You've done the absolute best thing by managing to move on and respecting yourself after she decided something else. Stay strong and take her parents' advice. Focus on your life and move on." Yup, X is just a volatile existence in her life that just wants to make it worse for her. He clearly doesn't give a shit about her, and his stance was loud and clear when he blocked as soon as she was single. I hope that she learns from this. Don't keep toxic people in your life, and I'm glad that OP is moving on. Sometimes people just love drama. You can't always stop someone from being an idiot who screws up their life, but you sure as heck can get out of the splash zone. I've known a few people in my life that I seriously think might be sort of addicted to drama. If they've got 3 ways to solve a problem with various advantages and disadvantages, they'll find a 4th that makes it all much, much worse every truckin' time. I had the same type of ex-boyfriend, minus a kid, who tried to do the same to me. Out of the blue, he texted me saying that he thought of me because something brought me up, telling him that he messed up while letting me get away. He asked how I was doing and what I was up to. I never felt so empowered as I did when I told him that not only was I doing great, but I was planning my wedding. Crickets. Never heard from him again. All's well that ends well then, huh, OP? Glad that you got out of that situation. Seems like you're happy, seems like she's unhappy. Unfortunately, that's just life sometimes, huh? Sorry to anyone that is stuck in similar situations to this, but I hope that these stories and experiences also from other people can help give you some perspective and guidance as to what you can do. Hopefully you can get out of Dodge if you recognize these patterns in your relationship. But anyway, thank you for sharing your experiences with us, OP. I very much appreciate that. Our next post is by user Pickled Sunflower, titled, "I, 30 female, promised my dying friend that I would regularly visit her disabled son, 50s male. Now my husband, 30 male, wants to move across the country, but I feel too guilty. When I was in college, I got a job looking after an elderly couple's middle-aged disabled son, John, on afternoons and some weekends. John is unable to take care of himself, and he requires constant supervision, but he's an overall very pleasant person. I grew up with 2 severely disabled siblings, so I'm quite comfortable with John. I don't have any formal caretaking experience, and because Jan and Jerry were retired, I was almost never completely alone with John. They took on the heavy lifting, so to speak, but they liked to have me around so they had the freedom to run errands by themselves, go on walks, take naps, etc. Caring for John was truly a full-time job, and hiring me helped to lessen the burden. They were extremely kind people. They paid me well and they treated me like family. Over time, I grew very close to Jan, Jerry, and John. I brought over meals for them every week, and we would eat together. It stopped being about the compensation, although they did compensate me generously. This whole situation went on for about 4 years. Once I graduated college, I stopped working for them formally, but I still spent time with them regularly. Around this time, Jerry passed away. Jane and I remained close, and I went back to assisting her with John on a part-time basis, even though I had a full-time job at this time. John is Jan and Jerry's only child, and all of their siblings are either dead or live far away. They had many close friends from church and around the community, but it was still difficult to find Jan the support that she needed. About a year after Jerry passed away, Jan was diagnosed with cancer. She continued to care for John full-time, even while battling cancer and undergoing treatment. But eventually, as her disease continued to progress, she moved John to live in a full-time assisted living center. Towards the end of her life, we visited him together, and she expressed her fear that he would have no visitors and become depressed after she passed away. She asked me if I would continue to visit him regularly, and I agreed. She told me this was her only dying wish. Jan passed away over 3 years ago, and I have remained a part of John's life ever since. I visit his care facility, that is over an hour away, at least twice a week, because it's important to me to uphold my promise to Jan. However, my husband recently received a once-in-a-lifetime job offer across the country. We are talking thousands of miles away. I'm so happy for my husband, but I can't seem to get this awful pit out of my stomach. If it wasn't for John, I would have absolutely had no hesitation moving away, but I can't let go of my overwhelming guilt. John really does have no other visitors. If he's lucky, a church friend will come once every 6 months or so. If I leave, he will be alone. Yes, he has his caretakers, but they care for dozens of people each day. Most of the other patients in this care facility are far less amicable and pleasant than John is, so he has difficulty making friends. The personal connection is just not there, and without it, I worry that he will regress. I really don't know if I can move across the country in good conscience, but I know refusing to leave could jeopardize my marriage. Do I have any options legally if I wanted to pursue moving John to a care facility in my new city? Money is extremely tight, so I can't fathom hiring a lawyer or taking on any personal financial responsibility over John, but I just don't know what to do. Sorry for the length. In the comments, Dodarep says, I am dying. I would be heartbroken if I found out that something I asked of someone in this last part of my life put them in such a dilemma and possibly might be the end of their marriage, because that would not be my intention. I do not know what she intended, but if she did mean that you should put your relationship to her son above that of your husband and later your children, then she asked too much. Others have given good advice on how to do this in the best way possible, but me, I hope nothing I say is taken this way, causing someone to consider to give up their life thinking that this is what I expect of them. See if you can get John an iPad so that you can still Skype him at least once a week. Make scheduled times in your calendar just like you would when visiting. Also, planning out a cool care package for once a month will help. Having some games like Words with Friends and other games where you can play against each other and some ebooks should help him as well. You deserve to be happy and make this situation flexible. Video calls are amazing for keeping in contact, but you could also start sending him monthly cards and postcards. John could start a collection, and they're a cool thing to get regardless of what your life is like. Back up to the post, there is an edit. Thank you all for the overwhelming amount of replies. I never expected that this post would receive so much attention. I'm still sorting through my feelings, but I have to accept that it would be crazy to put my life on hold just to be there for John. Thank you all for the amazing suggestions. I'm going to get John a tablet and plan bi-weekly conversations. That idea never occurred to me. We'll start video chatting before I leave so that he has a chance to get used to the new form of communication, in conjunction with the usual in-person visits, of course. I'm also in the process of working with his church to find him more visitors. Thank you all so much. My husband thanks you. In response to the question over who has power of attorney over John, to be completely honest, I don't know. I would imagine it's one of his aunts or uncles. That worries me, however, because they're all in their 80s and 90s. I have a lot of unanswered questions about John's future, but I do know that Jan and Jerry planned well financially, and he has a large trust. I'm going to talk with the staff at his care facility and see if they can give me any additional information. Yeah, I think that this is a case of you put yourself and your life above the needs of him. Unfortunately, it's a very much rock and a hard situation, but at the end of the day, you and your marriage and your future kids are more important than John. This is a very good compromise, and him having a schedule, knowing when he's going to contact you, when you're going to reach out, I think is a very healthy one, OP. I hope that it works very well in the future going forward. But I do understand where your guilt is coming from, and I'm saddened to see that that is a choice that you have to make, but I think moving with your husband is far more important than staying. Update. Last time I posted, I was overcome with guilt about the prospect of leaving my disabled friend to move across the country. I honestly couldn't tell you the amount of hours that I cried over the situation. It opened up so many cans of worms. Before this, I was living on autopilot. Coming to terms with the situation made me realize that I'm still grieving my parents. I still feel guilty about not putting in enough work taking care of my disabled siblings, therefore putting the burden on my parents. I feel guilty about not visiting my siblings more. I miss Jan and Jerry terribly. I miss when I was younger and everything seemed so much easier. I didn't want to leave my home of 30 years, but I knew I had to. I was so scared of letting my husband down. I just had so many emotions tangled up in my promise to Jan, my commitment to John, and the prospect of moving thousands of miles away. I received so much great advice on my post. I know I didn't reply to most of the comments, aside from a few special PMs, but I really can't put into words how much all the support meant to me. It really helped me when I was in a low place. So here goes with the update. My husband and I bit the bullet and made the big move this February. Before I left, I bought John a tablet and we practiced video calling 3 or 4 times. Honestly, it didn't work very well. He didn't seem to connect with me as well through Skype. He was distracted and irritable. He didn't seem to recognize that it was me inside that tiny computer. The last time I visited him, I was heartbroken. I gave him a huge hug and a kiss. He's not normally super into physical contact like that, but he took it really well. I gave him a care package of some of his favorite candies and treats, and he was really happy. It was so bittersweet. I can't say I ever really felt confident in choice. We continued with video game calls bi-weekly until about 2 months ago when I received a call from his treatment facility that John passed away after choking on a plastic game piece. He was one of the most special people that I've ever known, and it's hard to accept the reality of him really being gone. It's still a shock to me just typing this out. I know that Jan and Jerry believed in heaven, so I like to think that they are all together, happy and at peace now. I miss all 3 of them very much. I can't thank this sub and my professional licensed therapist enough for the support. I know that this is a really depressing update, but I've wanted to thank all the commenters on my original post for a while, and it seemed fitting to make a final post. In the comments, Scoxley says, John's mother was asking for you to do what you could to make sure that he wasn't all alone without her. You went above and beyond to do all you could and to not only check in on him, but to treat him like family, to the point of almost putting him before your own husband. I can't imagine that's what John's mother could have intended. She certainly wasn't expecting you to have to spend decades of your life tied to caring for John for her sake. I'm so sorry that John passed away. I'm sure his mother would have been so overwhelmed with the care that you showed for him, and through him, for her and her memory. I'm also sure that John would be incredibly grateful for how amazing you were with him. Neither of them would have wanted or intended for you to give up your life to make his life a little better. You should be so very proud of yourself. Very few people would have given as wholly as you did. I really hope that you don't beat yourself up for moving away, as you absolutely did the right thing. You are clearly a very thoughtful, kind, and caring person, and I wish you all the best, as it's what you deserve. I genuinely did not expect that ending, and now I'm gutted. OP went above and beyond, and I'm so glad that John wasn't alone for the rest of his days. I hope she's been able to find peace since this was written. It seems like a majority of the OP's formative relationships were highly based on the idea of obligation to fulfill a specific need within another person's life. And while all of the people are clearly described as loving and kind, and clearly deserving of OP's support, I think she may never have had a model for how to pursue her own life goals. I particularly noted the line about putting the burden on my parents, which was not possible for OP to do. Caring for her disabled siblings was certainly something she could help with, but that burden, of the caring, not the siblings themselves, was never hers to begin with. She could not put it on anyone else. No one is a villain here. And what a sad outcome, but I think it's time for OP to discover who she is and what her goals are outside of the bonds of obligation. Yeah, I have a feeling that OP might have grown up as a bit of a glass child, so she's not used to putting herself first. As sad as that situation is, I do hope that OP will be able to move on and let go of the guilt over time. She truly did all she could. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.